nation needs love and respect. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be hungry. My name is President R19, and whether you know it or not, I am God's elect president of these United States of America.
I'm a true conservative.
I'm a Democrat for life.
Soy socialista.
I'm libertarian.
I'm independent.
I'm a Republican.
And yet we're all Americans.
America was founded on godly principles.
It's time we set our differences aside
And come together on the things we do agree on.
It's all about love and spreading kindness.
So if you love God and country, then you must become a part of the God Party.
It's all about love.
The God Party.
You're living your life, don't know which way to go. Dry your eyes from the tears you had to let go. Understand that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Try, test it, hunger.
Welcome to the show, Tried, Tested, Conquered. I'm your host, shauntamoore. Today's show is one that I've definitely been anticipating. Every show is dear to my heart. Every guest is very important to me. But today's guest, I think, is going to be one of those people that challenge the way you think, what you believe, and what you see. So I normally ask, who are you? But I'm going to go to you with this. You changed your name to president. Welcome. President R19 Body. How are you? God bless you. Welcome to the show. And if you haven't figured it out by now, we are speaking with a 2020 presidential candidate today on Tried, Tested, Conquered. So I need you to turn that television up because I think you're going to learn some stuff today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks for having me.
Listen, it is a blessing to have you. It is. So typically my question is, who is President R19? But I want to go here with you. You changed your name. Why?
I legally amended my name to president so that the first thing that comes out of your mouth, everybody else's mouth, as I'm running for president, is president.
That it already is.
It already is.
I like that. I like that. People would say, well, you got to have a gimmick. You got to have an angle. I think that's a good one. How did you come up with that?
I just think it just inspired. I was inspired by the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I asked my son, he's 7 years old, his name is Malachi. I asked him what he thought. I asked my vice president running mate what they thought. And they supported me in that name.
Okay.
So, and it had a ring to it. Okay. So I said, let's run it.
Let's run it. Let's run it, and we run it.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. So, presidential candidate, 2020.
Yes.
Why run and why now?
Well, why run? Simply because the Spirit of the living God has commanded me to do so.
Okay.
That's why I'm running.
Okay.
Why now is because God said it.
I like the keep it simple method. I love that.
Okay.
But I got to dig a little deeper.
Okay, come on.
God said it.
Yes.
Indeed, very obvious. You are a man of faith.
Yes.
And to say that God said it, what did he say?
Run for president.
And what was your response?
My response was peace. I just had a spirit of peace that overwhelmed me. I was already in a state of peace.
Okay.
And I didn't even realize I was in the spirit in the day or the moment that he actually spoke it, run for president.
So was this something that you had given thought previously, and basically this word of God validated what you felt, or this was just a...
Yeah, it was just something he said, and when he said it, it made sense later, not at that moment. I didn't wrestle with it, I didn't struggle with it, I wasn't shocked. It was like time stood still.
Okay.
And it was like defining my life in that moment. And the next instruction or commandment that he gave me was call your bishop and get the blessing.
Okay.
So it seemed like 30 minutes could have went by, but it may have been only a few moments when he said call your bishop and get the blessing. So I called my bishop thinking that my bishop was going to say something like, "Mel, you crazy or something?"
Okay, right,
But
right.
I'm just in the spirit. I got the cell phone. I called him, and he answered the phone. "Hello." I said, "Bishop, I'm running for president of the United States of America, and I need your blessing." He said, "Brother, you got my blessing." He said, "I've seen God do some amazing things through you, and if that's your desire," he said, "you got my blessing." So that's how that went. Then God said, "Call your wife." So I called my wife. She answered the phone. I said, "Babe, I'm running for president of the United States in 2020. And she got quiet.
Okay.
She didn't say nothing. It was silent. And then God said, "Tell her, don't worry about the outcome. We got the victory. We already won." So I said, "Don't worry about the outcome. We got the victory. We already won." And she said, "Well, what you going to do about the electoral college?" And then I said, God said, "Don't worry about the outcome. We got the victory. We already won."
Any political background, any offices held, any races ran, anything?
Well, the only thing I've ever done politically was when I was 14 years old, I was a member or a student of Morris Brown, Upward Bound, and my cousin Travis was running for school president or class president, whatever, the president for the freshman class or whatever.
And this was high school?
No, this was a college program for kids.
Okay.
14-year-olds, Upward Bound.
Okay. I remember. I remember.
Yeah, and I was the campaign manager. And I gave the speech. And I said, like a math problem, there's only one answer. Travis and his last name. And everybody went crazy. And everybody kept saying, "You should have ran for president." So that was the closest, that I've ever. And that speech that I gave actually got him elected.
It's funny as you were talking, and any and everybody knows me. Whenever I hear something he says, I move on it. As you were talking, and even sharing about the running at that time. As you were talking, it's amazing how God could be preparing us for something and we have no idea. And a lot of people follow my ministry, know that I sing, I write, I produce, and all. So there's a certain things that's expected from me, but there was so much that it took back then, going through being tried, being tested, to be able to demand my space now, to be, the Lord said we could demand for that mountain to be moved and it shall be moved. So what mountain are you trying to move?
What mountain are we trying to move? That's a very good question. Can I think about that for a minute?
You can think about that because that question just come up. It is not on my handy dandy notebook. So most definitely, what mountain are you trying to move? Because one would say, and being a woman of faith, I can definitely respect you being a man of faith. But when we're talking about the world and we're talking about the masses, we know that we're going to be up against opinions. We're going to be up against naysayers. We're going to be up against people that say, "What? Number one, he changed his name." Okay, now that's just crazy right now, right? And I heard the interview that you did on Fox. Very good interview, by the way. And I listened to, as they were interviewing you, in the very beginning, there was a mockery spirit. It was one of those things of, okay, he's just getting a little airtime, so we're going to go ahead and let that be. But it's amazing by the end of it. And it reminds me of when the Lord says, "And every knee shall bow, and every tongue shall confess." Now, it doesn't matter the details.
Thank you, Jesus.
And that's what the Lord was telling you to tell your wife.
Yes.
Let's not worry about all the details. Just move. Just walk, So I'm looking forward to the rest of this interview because I tell you, listen, don't you move that dial, that TV. Come back, tried, tested, conquered. I'm your host, Shauntamoore, with R19 2020.
You're living your life. Don't know which way to go. Dry your eyes from the tears you had to let go. Understand that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Our nation needs love and respect. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be hungry. My name is President R19, and whether you know it or not, I am God's elect president of these United States of America.
I'm a true conservative.
I'm a Democrat for life.
Soy socialista.
I'm libertarian.
I'm independent.
I'm a Republican.
And yet we're all Americans.
America was founded on godly principles.
It's time we set our differences aside
And come together on the things we do agree on.
It's all about love and spreading kindness.
So if you love God and country, then you must become a part of the God Party.
It's all about love.
The God Party.
Yeah, this is a J-Mac production. And we come to hype this one up right now. Yeah. If you're feeling this one in your car right now, turn the radio up. And we come to let you know, never throw in the towel, don't quit.
Said I wouldn't make it, said I'd be right back around that cycle again. Said I couldn't take it, said I would break under pressure, just give up and give in. For me to hold my head down, don't speak, don't think, just do what you say. You're saying that you love me, but now I know you really want me to go away. But that's not how God created me to be. I'm a conqueror and I have victory. Fight to the end, keep on believing and keep pressing on to the promise, keep my eyes on the prize. Speak what God told me, I believe what God said to me. You took advantage of me, prostitute my gift for your unfortunate fame. Said you would support me, but only pushed those things that were attached to your name. So focused on the gift that you can't see the true treasure inside of me. So busy trying to hold me.
You're living your life, don't know which way to go. Dry your eyes from the tears you had to let go. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, shauntamoore, and you have tapped into Tried, Tested, Conquered. Today's blessed guest is a 2020 presidential candidate, Mr. President R19 Body. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. There's so much more. It's like, we're trying to shove all of it in this 1 hour. This might be my first double segment. I don't know, because I really feel like the people need to hear, see, and get to know your faith walk.
Amen.
So let's talk about your family. You mentioned your wife earlier. I'm pretty sure she had that same response that I would have had, like, okay, is he serious? No, this is face. And then when she finally realized that you were serious, let's talk about your wife, your family, their support with you right now in this.
My wife is beautiful, very loving, very supportive. She's a social worker by profession. She's from Brooklyn. She's the product of, her mother was an orphan.
Okay.
Right, or what's called an emancipated adult. So they come from generations of counselors. So she got a master's and all of that from Columbia. That's a little bit about her.
Okay.
But as far as the presidency, when she saw that I was serious, she was a little concerned, a little worried about it at first. And then when she saw that we kept running, she was just watching. And then when we started doing campaign events, she told the first crowd we did, first campaign rally at our church, May 2nd last year, 2018. She said, when I first told her that I was running for president, she wasn't surprised. She said she watched God do incredible things through me. So she said she wasn't surprised. She said that she never saw me lost. So she knows deep down inside I'm going to win. She was just a little concerned about her private life, things of that nature. But yeah, that's love. That's what expected. Yeah.
Okay. And so parents, children, everybody, we're pushing you into this purpose.
The only one that I can say that pushed me. What do you mean, like prior to the announcement?
Just that they're supporting you and they're, because one of the things about it, no matter what we're doing in life, that great thing that we're doing, you have to have that cheering squad. So, that's what I mean, your family, your cheering squad. You haven't ran into any, oh my God, he'll wake up from this in a moment, or, yep, he's lost his mind. None of that. Everybody is.
My father-in-law, when he first found out, he called me, he said, man, I couldn't sleep all night. He said, stop BSing.
Okay.
And he said, Obama couldn't get it done. What makes you think you can get it done?
Oh, ye of little faith is what I heard. And it's amazing how the hurdles that we have to overcome, I believe that God allows the trying and the testing to come via those that we love and respect the most, because it hurts the most.
Right.
When they don't respond, when they don't, support, or when they have the question marks and you feel that little thing in the atmosphere, it's like, okay, yeah, this negativity can't go. I do believe that God just says, okay, let me go ahead and trip them up right here. And have we spoken since then?
I've spoken to him once.
Okay.
And
was the dialogue different?
The dialogue was not much different. I called him, and God was dealing with me on that. And I called him, and he was not receptive. It was more of a thing of, I don't want to say what the spirit was at that point. It was more of another spirit that came in. But it was just him. It was many, many people that heard it, that have their opinions and comments. So it's been a very lonely journey in terms of looking for outside support. Because, of course, I got my church, I got my family, I meet people, and, when they find out I'm running for president, and then they found out, I was Republican at one point, like you already know, jump ahead, but it was not a fun walk from the time I started to now. I attracted a whole bunch of people, and we were paying a lot of money, and we were just running until God came in and turned the campaign around. So, yeah.
But you kept moving.
Yeah, God came in as a woman of God who's back there now. You haven't met her, right? Prophetess Renee. She said, you're not going to like this, but God said he's about to touch your campaign and turn it around and do what he wanted to do. Because when I first started running, right, I didn't have a platform. I didn't know what a conservative was, didn't know what a liberal was, and my whole thing was Africa, right? I'm an African American, so let me focus on Africa. And I was moving with that. I was on Facebook, getting a lot of attention, and he shut it down. And when he shut it down, I was quiet for about a month, 2 months. And then finally he said, no, this is what you're going to do. And my vice president and running mate, Eric Stoneham, he called me and he says, Isaiah 55:5. He said, I'm going to read this to you. He read it to me. And when he read it to me, the Holy Spirit began to speak. And God said, that's it. Right? So Isaiah 55:5 is basically talking about Israel and America uniting. That's what God gave me in the spirit of revelation. So now God says, unite Israel and America as one nation. I cried when he said that. I was so like, oh no, you serious? And me going through the Jews, my mind went in so many different places that I was like, are you sure this is what you want me to do? God had me to write the Prime Minister of Israel. I wrote the Prime Minister of Israel. He was glad. He was excited. Things started happening, little things. I'm like, oh God, like the Jeremiah, he got me talking to kings, talking to nations, and he's moving me for his glory. That mountain that we want to move,
Moses.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Somebody said that. A prophet called me, I think Vanessa Jordan, right? He called me on the phone and says, I don't know what this is about, but God is showing me Moses. You're going to lead a lot of people out. So the mountain that we want to move, because I said, God, why would you answer that? I heard fear, right? That's why I had to wait till I get the answer. One mountain that we have to remove from the body of Christ, from our people, is fear, because the devil is pushing fear right now. Fear of tornadoes, fear of war, right? When Jesus said there'll be wars and rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled. He said, fear not. So we're moving fear out, and everybody got to love and trust God more than ever before, and respect him through a government, right? Go ahead. Jesus said he's going to carry the government. Go ahead.
I think the world as a whole has gotten away from, are drowning more in religion than they are in absorbing the word.
That's it.
And as you were talking, I just kept hearing Moses. One of the things that you said about the confusion, the hesitancy. And the beautiful thing is, just like Moses, you keep moving. And God provides the ram in the bush. He provides the stick to part the sea.
Okay. Woo, glory.
And he's providing you. Get ready. Amen. This is shauntamoore, tried, tested, conquered. Jesus. This is getting good. We'll be right back.
You're living your life. Don't know which way to go. dry your eyes.
I'm a true conservative.
I'm a Democrat for life.
Soy socialista.
I'm libertarian.
I'm independent.
I'm a Republican.
And yet we're all Americans.
America was founded on godly principles
It's time we set our differences aside
and come together on the things we do agree on.
It's all about love and spreading kindness.
So if you love God and country, then you must become a part of the God Party.
It's all about love.
Our nation needs love and respect. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be hungry. My name is President R19, and whether you know it or not, I am God's elect president of these United States of America.
I'm a true conservative.
I'm a Democrat for life.
Soy socialista.
I'm libertarian.
I'm independent.
I'm a Republican.
And yet we're all Americans.
America was founded on godly principles
It's time we set our differences aside
and come together on the things we do agree on.
It's all about love and spreading kindness.
So if you love God and country, then you must become a part of the God Party.
It's all about love.
The God Party.
Our nation needs love and respect. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be hungry. My name is President R19, and whether you know it or not, I am God's elect president of these United States of America.
You're living your life, don't know which way to go. Dry your eyes from the tears you had to let go. Understand that.
Welcome back to the show, Tried, Tested, Conquered. I am your host, Shauntamoore, and today's guest is one that you will not forget anytime soon. Mr. Legally named President R19, 2020 candidate president. God bless you and welcome back to the show. I want to just dive right back into where we were before the last break. I heard the Lord say plain as day, and you, my viewers, you already know how God leads, I'm going to speak. I heard the Lord say plain as day, Moses. And I don't know if they heard me mutter it the last one, but I know you heard it. And as you were talking, well, okay, let's go here. So many people are drowning in religion that they're not absorbing the word, right? And when you, I think that is totally it. When it says study to show thyself approved, you can get so many different perspectives of the same instance. Let's look at Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, right? Same instance, 4 different men, 4 different perspectives. And so as I listen to you, this is good, sir.
Amen.
It's not often that you meet a man who is humble enough to completely submit to God, not today's time, to start such a movement. This is not and okay, that was good. This is a movement stained by the presidential election. This is a movement. You know, scripture says God will use the foolish things of the world to get our attention. Well, how much more foolish can we, because our presidential status right now is a little all over the place. But how much more foolish can we get than looking at what is supposed to demand order, but seems to be birthing disorder? So that leads me to this question. What is your opinion on the state of America right now?
I think the state of America right now is that we all need to submit to Jesus. That's it. I believe that the truth is what's missing in our government. Yeah, and no more compromising. I believe that we've become secular.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
We've become, as Psalms 82, Psalm chapter 82 says, how long will we suffer the persons of the wicked? And I believe we suffer the persons of the wicked, we advocate for the wicked, and we're no longer, as a nation, advocating for the Most High God the way we should.
Okay, but now come on, let's go there.
Okay.
There's nothing new under the sun. That's even disbelief.
Yeah.
Right? I remember growing up, you would always hear, the Baptist does it one way, the Pentecostal does it another way, the Mormons does it another way, Jehovah's Witnesses do it another way. The older I got, the more I realized I don't like denominations. I think it's a platform to keep God's people divided and blinded to the fact that we're all trying to get at the same location. So, with that being said, here you are, one man. And I heard one nation, under God, indivisible, right? Okay, so we know we have all of these cliches of why that was written and what it was in support of, which I still think is a foolish thing. You're one man that is about to take on the nation in a spiritual realm.
That's it.
Wow. How do you feel about that? Nerves, scared, doubtful, hesitant, questionable? And I keep seeing Moses.
Well,
how do you feel about it?
You mentioned Moses. That's a beautiful thing. Sometimes I feel like Gideon. God, is this really you? If this is you, then do this. If this is you, then do that. If this is you, then, let somebody mention the campaign, the fundraiser right now. And 5 seconds later, a lady in the back seat, excuse me, I just got a word for you from God. God said he's about to bless your campaign financially. Little things like that. But I've been Gideon the whole time, up until now. So the confidence is in Jesus. I don't have any confidence outside of anything else. When I find myself looking and worrying, I remember, don't worry about the outcome. So we had our first campaign, for example, campaign fundraiser, January 19, 2019. Okay. Mr. Miller, your producer, you know what I mean? He was there, and we had a beautiful time. And my bishop, Bishop Timothy Little, an awesome man of God, and his wife, you met her, Pastor Rashay Little, they were there, and so we raised money. And my pastor, right, God moved on her and blessed her to sow $119 into the campaign. The bishop said, which is her husband, because you have sown $119 into President R19 campaign, he said, the man of God said, God says that he's going to bless you with your building, right, within 39 days. Now, we didn't have this building that you're seeing
we are
now.
sitting in right now.
Right. This did not exist as our building. We had been looking for a building in 2 years. We was on Bankhead Highway, Donald Lee Hollowell. 30 days after the seed was sown, she found this. Within 39 days, we were here. And now, my first television interview is here. So sometimes God will have you sowing into what's going to be the place where he's launching. So we're having our first, and this is what, Now Network, Tried, Tested, and Conquered. So I said all that to say, God has set this thing up. So I just trust God. After that, real quick, state capitol, right? We spoke at the state capitol. Mr. Miller was again there. And people were registering. It was a blessing. They were coming. They were asking me hard questions. God gave me answers. People came to sign up, right? The senators were there. Mr. Miller said they were all looking and wondering, who is this? And then after all of that, I went in the closet. I said, God, what's next for the campaign? He said, love your wife. And I said, okay, how do I do that? We've been together 10 years, married 7. How do I love her? Because you said to love her. And I tried to figure out how to do it. And I said, God, you got to give me a sign. That's what I mean by Gideon. I said, let the sign be that our senior bishop, who's the overseer for this church, who has never mentioned anything about my presidency, I said, let him mention my presidency. He's way in Mapleton, so they only come for special occasions. So the senior bishop came, it was a Thursday, and he said, where's the young man running for president? And I said, I got him. He said, come here. I got up, and when I got to him, he said, listen to your wife. Now sit down. He said, he said, don't be pig-headed either. So that's the answer to love your wife. And as I did that, I started listening to her. Right in my tongue, she'd be talking, da 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 da. Like, God, you got to be kidding me. I want to say something so bad. Remember that? Get that blessing. You want that blessing for the campaign, right?
Oh my goodness.
So finally I listened, and things started opening up, and that was the day I laid on the bed, and I was like, listen to Andrew Yang got 65,000 contributors. Trump this and that and third. I was like, God, when you gonna move? I went to sleep. He woke me up. He said, call Tom Shalhoub Show. I said, okay. I don't know what to say. I'm nervous. I said, Jesus, you gotta give me some answers. I don't know what to say. You're on. You're next. Next thing you know, I'm on the air. That's how quickly it happened. And that took the campaign to another level. We couldn't have paid for that amount.
Right.
Like you said, they played hell to the chief, right? So
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by the confidence. Jesus is like, don't worry, I got you. I don't know what's gonna happen next. So this is the next thing. After I call, he said, we got this. So I'm just letting Jesus do what he do.
I've been a woman of faith for a long time. And I've been called crazy, gullible, right. You don't speak up for yourself, and I'm that glass is always half empty type person. I always want to see the good and the positive and where it can go.
The glass halfway full.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
What did I say?
You said empty, but I know you meant full.
The glass always half full.
Yeah,
not half empty, always half full.
There you go. I
want to see the good in people, and I want to, the good in opportunities. And so sitting here listening to you, it's somewhat of my story.
Okay.
And I remember I'm a rare bone cancer survivor. A lot of people don't know that. And when the doctors had given my life an expiration, told my mother that I wouldn't live past 17. And so they had my family preparing to bury me. I was diagnosed at 10. There's my lucky number 7. And they gave my mother 7 years to love on me, be positive. And my mother did something like you. She said, Lord, as much as I sing for you, as much as I worship for you, as much as I am on the field for you, the battlefield for you, I need you to show me a sign that I cannot mistake is you. My mama was cheap. She didn't want a house phone. She said, if you want me, you better drive over. We had a house phone once upon a time. She didn't like paying the bill, so it just turned off. We never moved it, never unplugged it. Long story short,
I know.
We are at home, and I remember the day, just like it was yesterday, Mama said, I'm going outside, y'all stay in the house. And I didn't know what had happened, but within 5 minutes, the phone rang. My mama came in the house and she's just giving God the glory because what she said was, Lord, if my baby is going to live, 1, I need you to show me some sign. 2, I need you to tell me what to do. And the phone rang.
Hey, ooh, Jesus.
So listening to your faith, it reminds me of my mom's faith then that has me sitting here in faith now, talking to you on this faith journey. I don't believe in coincidence.
Okay.
Listen, this is good. This is good. And for such a time as this, there's somebody watching this show that for whatever reasons, the task that the Lord whispered in your ear, you talked yourself out of it because you felt like it was just too grandiose. But just like Moses and just like President R19, just move and he'll provide everything that you need.
Jesus.
Every dollar that you need. Sitting here right now is a faith move. But you have to do your part. Because faith without works is dead as a doornail. So at the end of the day, listen, we're going to get into this next segment. We're going to get into some political questions. Because I'm pretty sure the viewers would want to know. We can't ignore that.
Amen.
But I felt that it was very important to get to know the man behind the message.
Jesus.
And I've done just that. So I don't know if it's time to go to break, but I'm feeling it in my spirit.
Okay.
So we're going to wrap it up. Listen, this is Shauntamoore, tried, tested, conquered. Come on back now, you hear? Right. See you in a minute.
Good, show it.
Don't know which way to go. Dry your eyes from the tears you had to let go.
I'm a true conservative.
I'm a Democrat for life.
Soy socialista.
I'm libertarian.
I'm independent.
I'm a Republican.
And yet we're all Americans.
America was founded on godly principles
It's time we set our differences aside
and come together on the things we do agree on.
It's all about love and spreading kindness.
So if you love God and country, then you must become a part of the God Party.
It's all about love.
The God Party.
Our nation needs love and respect. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be hungry. My name is President R19, and whether you know it or not, I am God's elect president of these United States of America.
You're living your life, don't know which way to go.
Welcome back to the show, Tried, Tested, Conquered. I'm your host, Shauntamoore, and today's guest is none other than presidential candidate, President being his first name, R19 Body. Welcome back to the show. I think we have gotten to know you, the man. Now it's time for the people to hear your message. Your message on a couple of different things, because the reality is you are been called, you are walking in the calling, but people are definitely going to be concerned about what are you going to do. I've seen several interviews, several posts on YouTube where people are saying, you know, we thought that this presidency would turn some things around because of the business mind and the business nature. It's amazing how we don't realize trouble is trouble until it knocks on our front door. So now you have a lot of people that are regretting some decisions that they made in the last race.
Okay.
What can you say to them to convince you that why should I entertain you?
Well, when you say convince, I would say, as you would probably agree, that wouldn't be my focus, to try to convince anyone, right? We would just, as you would know, speak the truth on every policy.
Okay.
And Reverend Dave Parrish was my mentor before he passed on.
Okay.
And he is well, God rest his soul, prominent. He was 80 years old when he passed.
Okay. Some wisdom.
Yeah. And he was a prominent black Republican.
Okay.
Which I'm independent now.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We'll get to that.
We started out Republican.
Yeah, we started Republican.
And we're now independent.
We're now independent. But one of the things he told me before he passed on, he said, when you get there, I said, get where? He said, you'll know. He said, only say what Jesus said. And he said, don't say what you would say. And I thought he was grooming me for like some big entertainment event, because my love and passion is entertainment.
Okay.
But little did I know that I would be and am the President of the United States of America 2020. So all of the policies that God is blessing me with is through Yeshua, Jesus, every policy. So regardless of what it is, if it's immigration, well, what does Jesus say? Immigration is in the Word, right? Well, we find that at abortion, every subject, right? So when they come to me, I have a sword, and that sword is in my mouth. It's called my tongue. And it will come quickly through Christ against any lies and just speak the truth, regardless.
So we know that America is made up of different nationalities, different religious walks, different religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Being a confessor of Christ, and even mentioning Joshua in your campaign. As a matter of fact, your shirt says what now?
God Party.
God Party 2020.
Yeah.
The different religions.
Yeah.
How are you prepared? Because now what we're doing is we are challenging belief. How you're prepared to handle that to the point to where you get past the brick wall of religion to be able to see the message.
Love. It's all about love.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. That's it.
That's a good answer.
Just love everybody.
Everybody wants to be loved. Right. Everybody needs to be loved.
Yeah.
Reminds me of something that I said to my ex-husband years ago. I'm not the person that's all about the fancy. Just love me and we can live in a cardboard box and build our way out of it.
Amen.
So you're basically saying with that concept, no matter what the issue is, no matter what we have to attack, no matter what policy, we're going to handle it with love.
With love and truth.
With love and truth.
Yeah.
I like your answers, I'm telling you. Okay. President Obama, one of the things that definitely stood out to me about him, and obviously you guys got one thing in common, you're both black, we know that. But one of the things that I feel that stuck out about President Obama was the fact that he did bring truth, and he didn't care what others thought, and he stood on it. Are you prepared to do that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because there were some things now that I felt like went against the word, order and operation, that he did do. Some things that he passed, some things that he signed into bill. And at that moment, it was explained as it's political and you have to cover everyone. How are you prepared to do that?
Well, like we said, if God didn't say it, if God don't will it, if God didn't speak it, it won't get done.
So you were trusting God to basically get through those barriers,
Yeah.
to unstony the hearts, to clear the minds, to be able to receive what he has sent you to deliver to the people.
For example, can I give an example?
Yes, please.
Abortion. We spoke about that a minute ago.
Okay.
God was dealing with me about 4 in the morning the other day on abortion.
Okay.
God says, no such thing as abortion. So what do you mean, Lord? Right? You abort a mission to the moon. You abort a mission to Afghanistan, right? And if you abort a mission to the moon or Afghanistan, for example, the commander will still be living. Everybody that aborts the mission will be living. The moon will still be there, right? He said they need to stop calling it abortion. Call it what it is, murder. And that's John 8:44. You are your father, the devil. Watch this. The lust of your father shall you do. He was a liar. Stop right there. A liar and a murderer. Before he murdered, he lied. And what's the lie they're saying now? They said a woman has the right to do whatever she wants to do with her body. Does she? Yes. A woman does have a right to do whatever she wants to do with her body, but it has nothing to do with that thing growing on the inside of her body.
I agree.
And so they say, well, what about in the case of rape and incest? You see how light-skinned I am? So genetically, we were bred for the last 400 years. I'm talking about African Americans and a lot of people throughout the world, right? But specifically us as black people in America, right? We've been genetically bred. A lot of us are product of rape and incest.
You are correct.
When you look at Jesse Jackson, you're looking at, he ain't light-skinned for no reason. So now what if his descendants or ancestors would have aborted that bloodline? We wouldn't have a Jesse.
That is good.
We wouldn't have had a Martin. This is what God gave me.
That is good.
You see these answers?
Yes.
God, Jesus gave me this at 4 in the morning. I'm sitting there listening to him like, wow, this is good. I said, yeah,
this is good.
That's all you can do, sit up and listen to him. Like, God, that's good.
Yeah,
right? He said, that's to bust them in the head when they started coming with that rape and incest crap.
Yeah.
Right? And what's the answer? God says, the act of Exodus chapter 2. What's that? Moses. You mentioned Moses. That's deep that you said that. He was drawn out of water. But you know the story. His mother, right, gave him up because he was lively. They were trying to kill him. The same way they planned Parenthood to try to stop our birth and birth in general, right? Because they're trying to stop special kids from being born. Anyway, Moses, right, was sailed to the river. The daughter called him. And what the lady said, I would pay the mother to breastfeed this child. So we would do love and counseling. My mother-in-law, she worked for the city of New York real quick. Her name is Nafisa Shahid. She's Muslim, bless her heart. But she's, bless her heart. So she was in New York City, and she shared with me once, thousands of kids would come to her, teen parents, and they would be thinking about abortion. And she counseled them out of it. She worked for the city. She was supposed to set the abortions up. She counseled them out of it. And many of those kids, I'm told, wound up becoming very productive members of our society.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So we take that all the way back to Pharaoh. And at the end of the day, the mental of it is what it is, the government, I'll say it that way so we're not pointing one individual out. The mental state and the evidence that supports the mental state of the government right now is very similar to Pharaoh.
Come on now.
So I'm fearful that you're going to rise up and challenge where I am. So I'll throw a temper tantrum. I'll throw some money. I'll support things being done unorthodox. I'll support freedom of speech as long as it doesn't go against what it is that I believe should be the order of operation.
Right.
Confessing Jesus with your mouth and believing it in your heart is definitely going to be your message to the land. We're about to go to commercial, but I'm going to ask you this question. Are you prepared to stand firm on the word, with the rod, ready to lead? This is Shauntamoore, Try It, Test It, Conquer. We'll be right back.
You're living your life, don't know which way to go, try your eyes.
I'm a true conservative.
I'm a Democrat for life.
Soy socialista.
I'm libertarian.
I'm independent.
I'm a Republican.
And yet we're all Americans.
America was founded on godly principles.
It's time we set our differences aside
And come together on the things we do agree on.
It's all about love and spreading kindness.
So if you love God and country, then you must become a part of the God Party.
It's all about love.
The God Party.
Our nation needs love and respect. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be hungry. My name is President R19, and whether you know it or not, I am God's elect president of these United States of America.
At Heavenly Body Product International, we help God's people prosper. We specialize in body oils, burning oils, and air fresheners. Buy by the pound, the gallon, drum, or barrel. That's right, black soap, and also shea butter straight from Africa. Laundry detergent, Tide and Gain types. Bath tissues. Even empty roll-on bottles for your oils. Lotion and bath and shower gel. Oil burners. That's right, go online and order, and we will ship directly to your door. Please like us on Facebook and go on YouTube and subscribe and like us as well. We're located at 2571 Park Central Boulevard in Decatur, Georgia.
Living your life, don't know which way to go, try your eyes.
Welcome back to the show, Tried, Tested, Conquered. I'm your host, Shauntamoore. Listen, if you missed the show up to now, we're going to see if we can get them to rerun this one because this one was good. We're going to jump back into my guest, 2020 presidential candidate, President R19 Body himself. This has been good. Last segment before the last break, we talked about a couple of political things, and I really want to dive more into that because first and foremost, I hear what you're saying, that we're going to love the people with the truth, and the truth shall do what? Set us free. So I get that. But you're going to have those that, and it's all about votes, right? And we know that God can do anything. He can turn any heart. He can turn any mind. Let's say we're now on a platform. We're at a debate. And the question comes up, Mr. President R19, what is your take on immigration? And how are you going to control the population of the United States of America?
My take on immigration is Matthew chapter 17.
Come on.
Verse 24.
Okay.
Right? When Jesus and Peter was in the city of Capernaum, they were immigrants. And when they were approached by the customs, right? The customs people said to Peter, does your master pay tribute? It's all about paying a tribute, paying respect. And Peter, in faith, said yes. He didn't know what Jesus was saying. So the word begins to say that Peter went to the house. Jesus had a house. Say it again. He had a house in a land that was not his. So when he got there, right, Peter tried to come into the house, and Jesus prevented him. The word begins to say that Jesus asked Peter, what are you thinking about, Simon Peter? He says, let me ask you a question. Do the kings of the earth, do the rulers, governors, do they allow their children to pay tribute, or do they let strangers pay? And Peter rightfully answered, saying what? Strangers. And Jesus says, well then indeed, the children are free. He said, unless we offend them, we can't be offending government and laws unless we offend them. He says, go to the brook of the sea, get the first fish.
This is good.
Follow, yeah, like you said, follow the instruction. Get the first fish, which Peter, he sent Peter back to do what? Work. Because Peter was a what? Fisherman. So God is not going to send you to do something that you're not familiar with. Peter went back to the sea and got the first fish, like Jesus said, and paid his customs and paid Jesus. So what did God was dealing with me on that? He said CAT, Customs and Tribute Act. That's what I'll be presenting to Congress.
Come on.
Right. That means if you're here and you are a immigrant, for what it's worth, a sojourner or a stranger, a visitor in our land, and if you want to stay, then be honorable and report to one of the agencies we set up, and begin to pay your customs and tribute. Now, as far as the wall, here's the question. What is everybody running from? What are they running from in Honduras?
That's a good question.
Right. What are they running from in El Salvador? They say crime, they say gang and rape. As President of the United States of America, right, I am sending the 7th branch of United States military to Honduras, to El Salvador, to Nicaragua, and that branch of military is called the Praise Force. And we will go in, this is where the love comes in, but you have to have love and truth, with the power of God as the army of God. And in the army of God, we don't wear camouflage because we don't get fatigued, we wear white. And we come in there and we set up these places and we bring order. What kind of order? Decency and order. But it's the order of Melchizedek, which is the 4th branch of United States government that I'm establishing through Christ. This is what God has ordered me to do. Meaning the 4th branch, Melchizedek, will oversee the Supreme Court, the Congress, and my office, the White House. It will oversee. So now we go in, and what did Jesus say? He says, Psalms chapter 82, verse 8, arise, O God, and inherit all nations. This is why my platform is uniting Israel and America as one nation. When we do that, we are the United States of America, Israel. And when we do that, we now can go into these nations and bring order to them. What would that do? That would stop people from coming to run. In other words, what you're running to, we'll bring it to you. What we're running to, we'll bring it to you. There'll be no need to be trying to flood America.
Right.
We will bring the
we'll
love.
Give you accessibility.
Right. We will set up our republic, so to speak, over there.
A lot of people would say, and we'll say it this way, the majority would say that there is no room for religion in politics.
And I agree, because God ain't into religion and God ain't into politics. But when you read Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, it says, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. He will carry the government on his shoulder. God is into government. Man, I don't care who he is, what nation he claimed, he can't claim the word government. It was first found in the word of God, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. And then, just in case they missed it, God mentions it again, Isaiah 9, 7. Right? It says, and the increase in peace of his government, there will be no end. So, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people say, well, that's in heaven. No, God says on earth.
On earth.
Yeah, he says he will carry the government on his shoulders. When? When we who are elected, as an elect President R19 2020 are in place.
Come on!
Right. Because if it were possible, the Antichrist would deceive the very elect. But it's not possible, not as long as you are hearing God. And you listening to God, and you follow his voice, and you say what he say, then who can stand against Jesus? I'm not representing the American people. I represent Jesus Christ on behalf of the American people.
Let me
King
tell
Saul.
you something, you about to start something up in here.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we know every man shall bow, every tongue is going to have to confess.
That's it.
That he is Lord. A lot of times it takes us a lifetime to get to the point of confessing. But one of the things that is so beautiful, no matter what we're big, bad, and bold enough to do, order is always going to render prosperous results.
That's it.
And I hear you putting things decent and in order.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, I'm going to have him back. This hour was not enough, but I thank you so much for joining us today. And listen, we got some more talking to do. This is Shauntamoore, tried, tested, conquered. Presidential candidate 2020, Mr. President, R19 body. Remember the name, look up the name, listen for the name. Thank you so very much. There's a GoFundMe. We're gonna run it into credits. A lot of the things that you need. This has been good. Have a blessed one. Shauntamoore, tried, tested, conquered. Until we meet again, be blessed on purpose.
All right. Thank you, Jesus.
Just done messed me out,
Praise
Lord
God.
have mercy. And I love your answers. I love your answers. I love your answers. But plain as day, the Lord say you better be ready.
Okay.
You better be ready, because just like they were bold enough to run after even seeing God's power, part the Red Sea, the ego of man said that he could still do something. And the only thing that he did do was eventually wrote his own death sentence. But understand that they're coming.
Oh, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
They're coming.
Yeah.
They're coming. And you're going to have to be steadfast and unmovable. This has been good.
Amen.
This has been good. This has been
You're living your
wonderful.
life, don't know which way to go. Dry your eyes from the tears you had to let go. understand that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
At Heavenly Body Product International, we help God's people prosper. We specialize in body oils, burning oils, and air fresheners. Buy by the pound, the gallon, drum, or barrel. That's right, black soap, and also shea butter straight from Africa. Laundry detergent, Tide and Gain types. Bath tissues. Even empty roll-on bottles for your oils. Lotion and bath and shower gel. Oil burners. That's right, go online and order, and we will ship directly to your door. Please like us on Facebook and go on YouTube and subscribe and like us as well. We're located at 2571 Park Central Boulevard in Decatur, Georgia. I'm Sir Markedu with Heavenly Body Products, where we help God's people prosper.
Yeah, this is a J-Mac production. And we come to hype this one up right now. Yeah. If you're feeling this one in your car right now, turn the radio up. And we come to let you know, never throw in the towel. Don't quit.
Said I wouldn't make it. Said I'd be right back around that cycle again. Said I couldn't take it. Said I would break under pressure, just give up and give in. For me to hold my head down, don't speak, don't think, just do what you say. Saying that you love me, but now I know you're